Hi, my name is Jeff. For a couple of months now, we've been talking about these leadership ideas, concepts, and principles in this 1-minute leadership lectures that talk about things you can do in and with your leadership style, but does it actually produce results? Well, today I'm going to actually review some of those results over the last couple of years in my current role as the CIO for the Air University. Now, please do not think this is about me. It's not about me. I have a wonderful team that works with me, that I work with, that have made all of these happen. But it does illustrate the absolute need for those simple leadership concepts that we've been talking about for a couple of months and will continue to talk about in the coming weeks. So stay tuned. We're going to jump right to what those results look like and how these results could actually apply to your environment as well. So stay tuned. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look here at the first slide here. This is just a few slides that we're going to go over, and this just gives you some background information on the Air University, where I'm currently working. The Air University is part of the United States Air Force, and you can see here it serves hundreds of thousands of students, graduates between 15 and 25,000 students a year, and you can see some of those numbers. And it really serves the Air Force and the Space Force, but has joint services that visit it, as well as a lot of international folks as well. So anyways, that's kind of about the area. So you can imagine the technical complexity to doing work within this environment. So now let's take a look here and see, this is kind of, well, what have you been doing? How have you applied these leadership principles that you've been talking about for the last couple of months to your actual work? Well, here's some of the things that we've done. We've moved all of these 14 legacy systems, 82 different programs, 1,200 different interfaces, 6,000 lines of code, and we've moved all of these legacy environments into 4 primary cloud-based services. SAP's SLCM and Canvas, a SIS and a learning management system, all sit within a cloud hosted environment within the Air Force called Cloud One. And then 2 software as a service solutions that are FedRAMP Moderate and FedRAMP High, which is ServiceNow and Microsoft 365. So that's the destination of where we've migrated and transformed this environment. But lots of things moving on, lots of migration. Remember, all of this occurring within 24 months. So here are a little more statistics. 26 systems and services. 95% of all of Air University from an IT perspective is now in the cloud, not local. And we saved tens of millions of dollars in cost avoidance in the years to come. So great accomplishment by the federal government to really reduce federal operating costs and reallocate and refocus those funds to the education of the Airmen and Space Force. So here's some more data on the decommissioned systems. 21 legacy systems moved 12 gigs of data and cleaned up over 1.4 million records in data. Remember, one of the challenges in large system migrations is data. In fact, it's probably the biggest of your challenges, getting the legacy data to match up with the new data sets and the way it all merges together. So quite an accomplishment there from the team. Here, from a service desk perspective and a kind of interfacing with the students and faculty at the university, 45,000 service tickets processed, 193 IT capabilities. So these are new capabilities occurring during this large migration, and 112 change requests. And then, of course, over 3,000 at this point courses migrated. These are classes that were taught in the old environment that are now migrated to the new environment. Quite impressive. Customer outreach, and we've talked about this in our leadership skills, really is how do you manage that narrative? How do you build the infrastructure and the systems needed? Task management, time management, motivation, appreciation of your workforce. Look, all this work's being done by 100 people. Okay, about 50 or so are either active duty military or civilian, federal civilian employees, and 50 is a flex workforce that's based on different contract awards. So 100 people doing this massive amount of work really depends on some of those leadership skills that we've talked about in the past: task management, time management, controlling the narrative, building up dashboards, proactively contacting your customers, appreciating the workforce. All of those things really play into being able to drive systems and solutions that you're seeing here on the screen. Look, these war rooms, everything you see on this slide, not mandatory, by the way. You don't have to do this. But if you proactively reach out during a modernization project, I promise you that it will work to your benefit. Here, 50 articles and news flashes that are going out via email, dedicated Tiger teams, customer support visits where they're proactively going to the schools and soliciting areas of improvement, 260 war rooms where they're really getting into the detail with the contractors on, I really needed to do this or I needed to do that, down at the code level, and 94 open mics that allow the customers and the faculty and everybody using the systems to get information as well as provide us with feedback of things that aren't working quite as well. Here's really a summary slide of what's occurred. Again, built on those simple leadership principles that we've already talked about in the 1 Minute Executive Series, and we will continue to talk about into the future. But here's a summary of all of what has been accomplished over these 24 months. So the key takeaway here: is it possible? Absolutely. It is possible that you can migrate and modernize an environment successfully. Now, success does not mean that people aren't still wanting more. That's not success. Success is that the systems run, operate, and perform the task at hand. And certainly that is the case here. And cannot emphasize the impact to the cyber posture within an environment that has been modernized. This is a huge step forward and a huge way to save costs associated with large enterprise. Clean up that cyber environment. In this environment, in the federal environment, that's 4 ATOs. That's it. 4 ATOs that manage all of the data and all of the requirements to serve this university. Quite amazing. The results have been produced here. Not built on luck or we're just going to start doing these migrations, but built on carefully and strategically placed leadership principles with a great team to execute. That's how you produce these type of results.